What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new and exciting episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by the household. We got Amanda in the studio. We got Allie somewhere in the Midwest. She's back. St. Paul, Minnesota. Justin is with us. Our pop culture correspondent, Natalie Joy. Hi, babe.
Hi, honey.
And our special guest today, the one, the only Madeleine Byrne. Woo!
I'm so happy to be here.
Madeleine,
Thank
how's
you.
it going?
It's so good. This is surreal. I'm a fan of the pod. I'm a listener.
We love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just listening to Ask Nick today's episode on the drive
And?
over. You're knee deep in the her boboyfriend won't go down on her.
Well, I'm not knee deep.
Advice.
Yeah.
yeah. But you're in the thick of the advice. No.
He is not knee deep. Well, we appreciate you listening and coming on.
I'm such a
How
fan.
long have you been listening?
I have your book. I'm not even kidding. This is like yeah, you've let a fan in, so
Oh my
I'm
God.
not freaky though.
No, it's
but no, I've been listening for a while.
But she's also super famous on social media and
Yes.
has great pop culture takes, which is why we have her on.
I'm very famous.
Yeah.
I'm very funny.
You're famous.
So enjoy.
Yeah, grounded.
But no, your advice, I like tell my girlfriends all the time. They joke. They're like, oh, what would Nick say? What would Nick say about this? I'm like, well,
This is what you would say.
he'd probably say that this person's just not that into you. But it's empowering. You're not like, you're not worried about the niceties and like, oh, he just is busy. You're like, no, I mean, you're just telling the truth. I love a truth bomb. I can't give it to people. I'm a people pleaser. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I send them your stuff.
We appreciate it. I appreciate it. And
Got you.
we're super glad to have you. We have a lot to get into today.
Mhm.
We got Golden Bachelor coverage. We got some Bachelor in Paradise, even though they kind of mailed in the episode. We'll get to some Beverly Hills Housewives, the dinner party. Denise Richards shows up. Wow, a lot to get in. And we got Squid Game conversations. We have Phalisia. Is it player 229? Is she 229?
Yeah, I have feelings.
A lot of people have
I'm gonna have to
feelings.
leave the room. No, I'm kidding. But
But she played it right. I mean,
wait,
229.
yeah,
why?
player 229.
That's my question. Why is that playing it right to send?
I mean, because at the end of the day,
Everyone's going home.
there's only
Right.
one winner,
Right.
and it's, you have your alliances, you have your friendships, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
the only argument you could make about her not playing her cards right is that, like, the number one skill set I feel like to do well in that game is blending in, to not stand out, to
Mhm.
like try to fly under the radar as long as possible. And I think sending home a player like
Are we spoiling?
our old man. Well, yeah,
Can
I mean,
we
sorry
can-
guys. I mean, you've had 2 weeks to catch up. So, spoiler alert, we're watching Squid Games. Squid. I said that funny.
Great.
But Phalisia is with us to talk about her experience, give us a little behind the scenes of Squid Games, talk about her decisions to send home some of the people that got she's in a bit of some internet turmoil. So hopefully we'll get to the bottom of it. So much to get into. And then to start things off, I just want you to know that the cardigan I'm wearing right now,
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber
Loves it.
Yeah.
We met Justin Bieber over the weekend, everyone, and it was so iconic.
We went to a Christmas party. We have some mutual friends. It was a
Sure.
small gathering.
Mhm.
Oh,
Um,
intimate.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know. Probably what?
It was pretty
100
intimate.
people?
Yeah, but it was like a small space.
Yeah.
There wasn't
100
many
people's not
places
that
to
much
go.
for a Christmas party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's hosting?
Our friends at OBB Productions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Very, very talented production company. Do a lot of great things.
Ice baths with Kevin Hart.
It's not called Ice Bath. It's called Cold as Balls.
Whatever.
With Kevin Hart.
Bathroom with
Yeah.
Hailey Bieber.
Who's in my bathroom with Hailey
Yeah.
Bieber.
Oh, amazing.
But we were all hanging out and doing a little dancing, and then we went to the photo booth, and Justin saw my cardigan. He's like, "Man, I really like your cardigan." And I'm like, "Thanks." And I'm like, "It's Levi's." Like, as if he gave a shit. Like,
You like tell him how much it cost. Like that's my impulse.
You're like, "I'll send you
It's
some
on
links."
sale.
So, he's just trying to be nice. But
It's
then he was
like-
like, "No, and I really like your scruff too." And I'm like, "I like yours, man." You know?
It's like women when they have a dress with pockets and they're like, and it
Yes.
has pockets.
Yes.
I'm a Maxinista.
No, I just did a sketch about this. We're
Yeah.
girls. We're gonna
Yes.
need pockets all
We're
the
gonna need
time.
pockets.
Yes, we're gonna tell you how much something costs the moment
Yes.
you compliment it. Yes.
Yes.
But I feel like Justin was just being like a nice person, just to like,
He's
I was in his
so-
vicinity, so he decided to pay me a compliment, and I was like, no, it's Levi. Can I tell you where to get it?
No, he's so like I was
wanted to
telling
trade
Nick,
him.
he's like a politician. He just like works a room. He doesn't. I feel like Hailey on the other side is very introverted and like more, but he's going around. He's like, how's that taco? Is it good? All right, let's go. And he's just like talking to everybody.
Super
he
nice.
makes himself
So
at
nice.
home.
Yeah.
We were dancing beside each other and the belly was out. And he was like, pregnant women need night outs too. And I was like, yeah, we do. And then when we were going to leave, we were both kind of like, he was going somewhere. I don't know where, but we were walking out and there was no one else around us. And so I was like, bye, Justin. And he was like, bye, you guys. Like, congratulations on the baby. He gave me a hug. He shook Nick's hand. It was so wholesome and so
Wow.
cute.
It's really
Yeah.
wholesome. So, Justin, if you want this, again, you can find it at levi's.com, but also I'm happy to give it to you.
Off
Yeah.
That's
his back.
huge. He didn't
Yeah.
have to say that. He probably
didn't.
really liked your sweater and
No,
your belly.
it seemed like a genuine compliment. I
Yeah.
think he was just being nice, but also I think he genuinely, and he liked my scruff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
The scruff seems to be a real sticking point.
yeah.
Mhm.
But
Anyways,
pride.
it was a real blessing. We had a good time.
Do you like having like a sweater that's like holiday-esque but not overtly holiday? Like, how do we feel about ugly sweaters?
I love an ugly sweater, and I love, yes, like this is just a red fluffy cardigan. You can wear it anytime, but it is a very bright red.
It's red is the color of the season
I know. I heard.
in fashion.
like just in general.
In fashion,
Like,
But
it's-
forget about the fact that it's Christmas time.
Exactly.
But red is, I do feel hard to pull off sometimes. Like, I don't know if I couldn't do red often. I
She's
don't know
like,
if I
and
get.
you can't do red either.
No, you're actually like, it's
Yeah,
a good.
You tried. Good job.
No, you're killing the red. I'm thinking like, would my boyfriend wear red? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You got to have the right undertones.
Yeah.
It's hit
And
or
or the
miss.
right scruff.
Yes.
Mhm.
Right. Kendall Jenner and Bad Bunny were also there.
You're
and
kidding.
he did not recognize me from his music video. But I feel like also I had long extensions when I was in his music video and now I'm pregnant. So he was probably like, that's definitely not her. Like, ah. So I didn't say anything. We definitely made eye contact a couple times and he was like standing alone and Kendall was somewhere. And I was like, he looks kind of awkward. Maybe I should just like go over and be like, hi, you probably don't remember me. I was in Ojitos Lindos music video, but I did not. And then they left, but they look very in love, which
Yeah, what was their
honestly,
dynamic?
I thought was a whole publicity stunt, but like they
They
truly,
seem very,
truly in love.
yeah,
It's kind of cute.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
very cute. Very cute couple.
Yeah. Did they strike the balance of being like in love but not PDA over the top?
They definitely didn't seem like they were putting on a show of any kind.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
it was like the fact that we're even talking about it is a little scandalous, but like it was an intimate Christmas party in a sense. So there was no performance.
They knew they could be
necessary.
free,
They were
right.
among
Yeah.
friends, and they were.
Yeah.
Um,
They definitely stayed connected, but there wasn't any like make out sessions on the dance floor. or
they just looked
anything.
like
It
a couple that was
yeah.
very like happy to be around each other. Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Good
It
for
was.
them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, well, the Golden Bachelor has come to an end, but the scandals when it comes to Gerry seem like they're just getting started. He picked Teresa. I think the Bachelor producers really fucked over Teresa and Gerry.
Yeah.
They didn't give us a reason to root for the two of them.
I watched it after the fact, knowing that they were going to pick Teresa because it had already come out in the news. And I then watched it back with new eyes, sort of, and I could see the moment Gerry checked out with Leslie, though.
Yeah, it's
But
just
throughout
that
the whole season, it was like
felt
you
like it
all
was-
you rooted for like him and Faith and
Yeah.
him and Leslie
Yeah.
and him and just like everyone else
Yeah.
but Teresa.
they made Teresa out to be this almost Delulu person
Like the straggler.
who had an early date, and she was obsessed with Gerry, and Gerry was kind of like, you know what, you don't have to go home yet. Like that's how
Yeah.
they positioned
No,
her.
he did give her the last rose every
Yeah.
time. It was always, she seemed,
He told Faith and Leslie he was in love with them, and then it's almost like he is as if he had to tell Teresa. And again, we know this shit can be edited. So if I were Gerry and Teresa, I would be frustrated with how they chose to show their love story. I mean, it kind of goes to show at the end of the day, they're just, it's the drama first and foremost, then the love.
Yeah, because it feels like we almost got it edited from Leslie's POV of like we saw him say all of these like very big, meaningful statements to her, like not just right before, not just at hometowns or fantasy suites, but like leading up to it. It just felt like it was elevated. So it was like they really did give us like Leslie's outlook on the whole thing. So I think it felt kind of like whiplash to be like, what happened? I don't know. Okay, Teresa's winning.
Right.
And with Faith too. I mean, that moment he's sitting there with Faith in front of her whole family and they're looking in each other's eyes and like, should we just say it? I love you. And they start kissing in front of everyone. And then you send her home? That was so weird.
Question, why, like, we crucified Clayton for being as messy as he was in the final 3. Partly which his I love you proclamations. I love you and it feels so good. He shouts outside of the fantasy suite as she gets into the car.
I think it was also him saying, I had sex with all of you.
Yeah, there was that.
In front of all of them.
Yeah.
Sure, but I mean, Leslie went on and on and on about how heartbroken she has been and how disrespected she has felt through many of the men that she has dated. She had put her trust in Gerry.
Mm-hmm.
And like many bachelors before him, not all, and bachelorettes, sometimes, as my criticism to Clayton was, it's not just your journey, it's everyone else's as well. And sure, you can kind of play this game as if your feelings matter more than anyone else's. And part of being the lead, yes, you are required to lead on a little bit, but like no one's telling you to say, I love you to multiple people. No one's telling you to hook up with multiple people behind closed doors. We don't know if that's what happened, but like you are in charge with how much you might lead people on. And some of the leads will fully immerse themselves into that world and be like, hey, I'm the bachelor. It's my journey. I've been told that I need to compartmentalize each relationship and like focus. And like, that's obviously what the producers want. The producers want you to fall in love with multiple people because it's messy and it's, you know, just dramatic at the end. But at the cost of really leading some people on to the point where it's very much easy to argue like how much is too much. And Gerry fully immersed himself into this role as the bachelor and really led on the last 2 women for sure.
I mean, do you remember back in the day, they weren't even really allowed to say I love you until the last moment. I mean, Desiree, I'm thinking like way back, like it was unwritten, like you just don't say it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't say it back. And when Ben said it to JoJo, I remember she was like, are you allowed to say that? Like, wait, you can. And now they're all doing it willy-nilly.
Yeah. And now, but it's still like the kind of this taboo thing. And yeah, but now it's just kind of whatever. But he, and then this whole Hollywood Reporter article.
Which I feel like is such a hit piece. It's so bizarre. I think every single season of anything, there is an ex who comes out and says, we dated, and tries to get their 15 minutes of fame. And I think his priority was focusing on the death of his wife and not some girl he dated for 8 months. Like, sorry, he left that part out, but who the fuck cares?
I tend to agree with you, but he wanted us to believe that all he was doing since his wife passed was crying. Playing pickleball, and maybe rubbed one out every now and then.
Well, there were a few things about it. It was the article was a little elitist about how like the show built him up to be this restaurateur and he had other jobs.
See, the show that's not Gary's fault. That's the show's fault.
Show.
The show always oversimplifies its characters. They want to prop them up.
Yeah.
They want them to seem like the most eligible bachelors, and they often take charge of their leads, kind of
like the stories.
Yeah. And they just kind of tell the leads to kind of run with it, so to speak. So I don't fault Gerry for that. You know, he is probably stuck between like, do I want to talk about, like Natalie said, like a bunch of
women I've dated?
Yeah, between the time my wife passed and now, you know, obviously he probably wanted to memorialize his wife.
I mean, there's a chance he talked about it and they cut it out.
That's true.
There's a chance the show really was like, well,
I doubt it.
You think?
No, but what I don't appreciate is the weight shaming comments that were included in like some of what she released. And then when that was brought up to Gerry to talk about it.
Hold on though. But that's one comment, if I'm reading it correctly, is that she says he picked her up and then pointed at her and said, I can't pick you up looking like that. Which maybe sounds rude in general, but isn't she kind of assuming?
No, he said he's not. They were going to go to a reunion. I believe it was his school reunion. And he said, I'm not taking you to the reunion looking like that.
Sure. Okay.
Pointing to her body.
Well, pointing at her.
Was she wearing like Cookie Monster pajamas?
Yeah,
and he
exactly.
was like, yeah, you can't go like this.
Yeah, where did we assume it was weight? Was it the weight?
She said that she had recently gained 10 pounds due to stress.
Well, that sounds like she's projecting.
What?
I mean, we don't know for sure. I mean, she didn't. If she's sensitive about something, And then he points at her, to Natalie's point, what if she was wearing a Cookie Monster pajamas?
Right.
And it was like, and he said, I can't take you looking like that. I mean, it sounds like a rude thing to say in general, but
For sure.
we don't know for sure. And she's not even claiming that he said that he mentioned her weight. So he does sound like a fuckboy in this interview, though.
Or is she?
But what I'm saying is he had the ability to negate that or to give us like a different point of view on that situation. And when they brought that comment up to him, he just said, I don't have time to talk about things like this.
Yeah, well, that's his PR team telling him to say that. He did tell, what did he say to Katie Couric? I guess I would have to say I dated a number of women, but then it became an issue of how to define whether you're in a relationship. It is the most fuckboy thing anyone can say.
Yeah. What is a relationship
What's a
really
relationship
when you
even,
think
right,
about it?
Like,
Right.
I think the truth probably is. And like, I also really don't care because I never thought Gerry was some sort of like the only 72-year-old or whatever, how old he is, man who's like truly like walked this pristine life and has always been a gentleman and never offended anyone and like doesn't have skeletons in his closet. So like, I never assumed that. And so like, you know,
It is a fall, you know, from high up though, because he is so wholesome in how he speaks. He always has the perfect answer. You just can't picture him saying that stuff to a woman. So it, for some reason, does hit harder. Like him, I don't know, saying anything rude.
He's a charmer. I mean, he's a fuck boy. The guy was, I mean, the body was barely cold before he started dating.
Well, yeah. What was the thing?
You can't judge that though. Like,
I'm not
that's
judging it.
everyone copes in different ways.
Sure,
That's
yeah.
like,
But
No, you know what's interesting? So I have a
it's
new
still
boy.
fast.
I have a new boyfriend. We're like 4 months in. He's a widow. He's actually a widower. Widower.
Widower.
If you're the man,
I think widower.
is it? But we had a long conversation about it. He has a daughter with his late wife, and you know his conversation about her passing. They had conversations, knowing she was going to pass, and just talking about dating and how quick is it okay to date someone. But I do think some people you can get back out there a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
You
Nick
can see.
unfortunately would not be able to date anyone.
No,
after
not
I
allowed.
dated. No,
No.
absolutely not.
No,
Yeah. No.
Right?
Not allowed. No.
same.
Even if I
wouldn't even
wanted
want
to.
to.
But I wouldn't want to.
But you wouldn't want to.
But definitely would not want to.
Yeah.
That's the thing, baby. Like my criticism towards Gerry moving on so fast is because I couldn't imagine a world in which anyone could do that because how much I love you and like I truly would be distraught. And even if I had to grieve, like let's say you got sick and were sick for a period of time, maybe like his wife was, I still wouldn't get over it, even if I could prepare for your passing. So I can't imagine Gerry, you know, moving in with someone like she claims so fast. And I'm so beside myself with Gerry's actions just because of how much I love you
That's
and how
so
obsessed
romantic.
I am with you. And so to that end, I think Gerry kind of sucks because
Well,
I can't
on that point, I agree.
Yeah. I'm just kidding, Gerry.
You changed my mind.
Very congratulations to you and Teresa. I mean, big picture wise, like we enjoyed the Golden Bachelor for its kind of heartwarming nostalgia. And I think it is a beautiful reminder that as you get older in life, it is important to get it back out there and take chances and you can find love. And I think that was the biggest takeaway. And Gerry did a good job along with Teresa and the rest of the wonderful women of the season to show that. And I think big picture wise, that's the big takeaway.
Absolutely.
Gerry,
they're
but
cute.
Gary's a fuckboy.
And okay. And Susan is mother is what I will. Susan, did you see her at after the final rose? Like the
Love her.
facial expressions, like you could just tell that she was like the beating heart at the center of this cast and like loved all the women so much, is so supportive, was so like genuine in all of her emotions. She's one of my favorite people to come out of
Hilarious
Bachelor ever.
She's so
She's
funny.
mother.
That whole montage of her and the guacamole, I'm like, and she's just laughing with it. I mean, she's hysterical.
Gas.
I know.
Who do you want to be the Golden Bachelorette?
Probably either, I mean, Leslie, Faith, or Joan, right?
Everyone keeps saying Joan is like especially for someone who didn't go as far.
Did you not see her TikTok where she did
The leg, yes.
hot?
Is it weird that I was like, wait, I have to watch that back? Are her like panties out every time she like does that crossover?
It was hot.
I
She's
know.
hot.
when she's getting a big storyline for someone that did get, left
people
early.
love her. And then some people think maybe Faith is like, too busy in Wyoming with her horses.
Who do you want, Leslie?
I would want Faith or Leslie.
Yeah.
I'd take Joan. I mean, listen, I think it's very hard to be the lead, and given some of the ages of the possible, it's like they really have to be ready to do it. So I think unlike other seasons where it's like they look at their top 3 or 4 and then, everyone who gets asked would be down. I think there's a lot of women who like might not be interested, or more importantly, just like might not be up for it.
Yeah, emotionally. I mean, hear me out though. Future seasons, they could do a Bachelor in Paradise, Golden Bachelor edition, and they're in like Boca.
Yeah,
you know
I would
what I
love
mean?
to see like a community home type of beach resorty pool. Just film it in Malibu.
Oh, that needs to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing. The activities, like the programming that exists at like some community, like or retirement homes are already like group dates.
Would anyone miss if they just replaced regular Paradise with Golden Paradise? Would anyone miss regular Paradise? No one seems to be watching.
I still eat up regular Paradise. Am I the only one? I love it.
It hasn't landed for a lot of people this season.
Yeah. There is something really, I don't know if you're switching into Paradise yet, but like
Sure.
chat, I mean, there is just something so frustrating about watching these guys make a connection and be like, I think I want to make a connection actually over here with Jess today. It's like nobody wants to
Right.
just
But then
stick
Kat was
anywhere.
called a homie hopper when she wanted to do that.
Right.
But the guys, it's no big deal.
But they look desperate to me. They look
Yeah.
desperate as hell to me, watching them just be like, yeah, I like Tanner connected with Rachel. I'm going to go for Jess. It's like you dissed Jess week 1.
Mhm.
What?
Mhm.
It's just giving today's culture of dating is how it feels when I'm watching it.
There's no one I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm not invested in any character, to your point.
What
There's
about
no one-
Aaron? And
They haven't really shown
Oh,
enough of
haven't?
their relationship to root for it.
Yeah.
Like they're really just kind of in the background.
And-
so
and-
it's like,
and-
I forgot they were there.
And nothing against them. Like, I mean, they typically do that with their more stable, boring couples. Like, iconically, like Jade and Tanner with the first,
Mhm.
married couple from Paradise. Like, if you go back and watch their first season, they're not on it much because they just kind of slept and cuddled.
Yeah,
the
they're
whole
stable
time.
and yeah.
But they were both like compelling characters. Specifically, Jade was. Jade was a star on her respective season, and like they just don't have any stars. Nothing against Aaron, doesn't have much of a stardom to it, and
Yeah.
Eliza, for all her wonderful characteristics, like
Yeah, they're
isn't a
just they're
star
wholesome.
from their. They don't do a good job of cultivating their characters, and then the ones they do cultivate, they kind of scare away. I heard some tea over the weekend.
Oh, pray tell.
I heard that, who was in the running to be the Bachelorette while they were choosing between Charity and the rest of their options?
Yeah.
Susie. Susie was this close to being asked to be the Bachelorette.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
She would have been so good.
Yeah. I mean,
She's
I would
so
love to have
funny,
a season
yeah.
with Susie, but
She still could down the road.
still could,
You never know.
but, it's like as
further
it gets
along,
further
yeah.
along, it's harder and harder. Yeah, it was down to the wire, I heard, between Charity and Susie.
Wow.
Why can't they do a season where everyone's in their 30s? Doesn't have to be 70s.
I didn't
doesn't
hear
have to
from,
be
from
20s.
Susie, by the way.
Heard it from another source.
A very reliable source that is connected to the process. But anyways.
I just want everyone to be in their 30s or 40s. I mean, if they really want people to start getting engaged.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even picture that in my 20s.
I think the hard part
know?
is like, it's harder to find 30-year-olds who are willing to do that and still be a little messy because it is about
That's a good point.
the drama.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do think there is something that doesn't feel as like the engagement portion of it doesn't feel as like it holds the same kind of weight because it seems like there's just kind of this precedent of people waiting a few years and then it's like see if they break up. So it's more of like kind of like a performative engagement ring than it is like an actual like lifelong commitment to marry one another. And I think maybe if they were a little bit later in life, like, because, some engagements are, of course, like very serious. Like, I have plenty of friends who got engaged in their like early 20s, but I think there's something about the TV plus the young age that sometimes feels like a little more questionable.
Well, and they've
overall.
got to know. I mean, even like Kylie and Avon were like, you see previews for next week and she's like, oh, I want to be engaged. I want to be engaged. And Avon's like, looking like he's saying that's not even on my radar.
Yeah, it's like we just met. And you tried to make out with Blake when you went home. No, I'm just kidding.
No, literally,
that
what
was
was
yeah,
that?
that was
She's
romantic.
Like, no, how
I
am I supposed
actually-
to do this without you?
I actually think
Nick is like, no, I see nothing wrong with that. And that it was the weirdest.
I didn't say I see nothing wrong with it. I just knowing how that show, my guess is I think Blake and Rachel mentioned this when she was on here. I think Blake, older, been on the show a lot. I think he was an advisor for a lot of those people. And I think he was a voice of reason for a lot of the people down there. And I think he was like the dad almost, the big brother. And I think when he went home, I think he was missed. And I think it was more about that. And I think
Sure, but
she's a natural flirt, and I think it just kind of comes across as she kind of wanted to fuck him.
but Rachel came here, talked all about her relationship with Blake, and then a couple weeks ago, she went to, I guess, Florida and like was on his putting things on Sea Turtle, and she didn't even go up to say goodbye to Blake.
Are you talking about Bachelorette Rachel?
Did. Yes, but Kylie did, and she's like, I don't want you to go.
I think she was just trying to have a TV moment, and she doesn't know how to not look like she wants to fuck.
Well, I think we've never seen them interact. I've never seen them interact on the beach as friends.
I don't
so
think
it just
anyone
came out
else
of left
had.
field. Yeah, it was like
jump scare. Why
Everyone
is she
else
running?
down there was like, where is Kylie going? Like, why is Kylie going up there? It was
producers
like,
loved that soundbite. Wait, Kylie's going out of the car. You know, they're like, Kylie's running away. Yes.
Mhm.
I just
They
think
use that.
most likely this is a result of clever editing and not showing things and not giving us insight into a relationship that probably existed, more than that she had a last minute moment of like, do I want to fuck Blake?
No,
Or-
but she did say, but there's no one else here that you would stay for. It was like Kylie. Like it was
Well,
definitely
okay,
like
yeah.
Yeah, the energy.
the energy was sus.
It was sus.
Suspicious.
Realistically, at this point in the show, how many weeks left do they have actually on the beach?
I mean, usually Paradise is about 3.5 weeks. I have no
that's
concept
it?
of yeah.
I mean,
Probably, everyone's saying they're close to the end, so this is probably last week.
And with the way they have done episodes, it's really kind of hard to gauge like any sort of like timeline because there's no rose ceremony. Like there's no like every episode starts and finishes
yeah.
with like a morning and a rose ceremony. So it's really kind of hard
Dang.
time where it's hard to tell what like week they're in, like what quote unquote week on the show. And then
Yeah.
like how much real time has been. But
I mean, with the finale next week, presumably like that was the last rose ceremony. They don't usually end on a rose ceremony. It's more just conversations about can this relationship translate to real life, right?
none
Yeah.
none of them are going to translate to real life. Maybe Aaron and Eliza will give it a shot.
Yeah. You don't think Kylie and Avon? Like they'll break up?
I mean, I'm sure they'll start dating. But
Yeah.
no, it don't strike me as a relationship I'd really bet on.
Yeah. I was happy that Mercedes finally kicked that other guy to the curb. I do feel like, could she date Will? Could we bring Will back into real life?
Well,
Remember, he was so
Wow.
earnest and like sweet and looking for love, seemingly.
He left a broken man.
I know.
Like this show really did it. Like 2 weeks did a number on him, or 1 week,
And
however
he's
long.
cute. Yeah.
it was kind of weird that Tyler was just like, I'm good.
Yeah. I guess I just always kind of framed it through the lens of I remember when him and Mercedes were first connecting, Tyler mentioned like, oh, well, like Avon is my best friend and Kylie's your best friend. So it's like, oh, like kind of double dating. So I wonder if that was his main motivation for staying in it. It was just like it was simple and easy and it meant he just got to like hang out with his friends.
Yeah.
I think he was one of those people who thought he'd come in and be like the Bachelor of Paradise, so to speak, and then
He Braden pierced his ears, and it was all downhill from there.
Yeah,
The diamond studs are so atrocious. I cannot.
and then he was like, "I'll hang out with Mercedes for a while," and then it got to the end.
Less
He's like, "I
interested.
can't do this."
Braden became kind of like, I don't know, he had a redemption arc in my mind.
We love Braden.
Yeah, he's fun.
yeah.
He was
seriously.
regretful of the Rachel of leaving when he left.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, this clearly is not a serious show, and he's the only one who doesn't take it seriously. So at least he's like sufferable,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to everyone else is like clearly not taking this seriously, but acting like it's the most serious thing.
Speaking of, I guess, serious things like Blake and Jess finally pulling the plug. What did y'all make
Good
of
for
that?
Blake.
Yeah.
He's showing his maturity. He's just like, I've been in these type of situations before. She's clearly not that into me. Jess, she seems sweet, but like, stop crying because you don't like a guy who likes you, and you're not a victim. you know.
I think that's just she's just like a people pleaser,
Sure,
and she just.
Yeah, but I
That's one
don't
of
feel
her-
sorry for her.
Well,
I mean,
don't-
I was happy she said, I'm
just wanted
not
her
really feeling
friends.
it either. She kind of, I thought she was going to be upset when he broke it up with her. And she was kind of like, yeah, I kind
Yeah.
of
But she
don't
was kind of
either.
upset afterwards, crying in her ITMs, sparkling and
kind of
glitter.
rejected. Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, it was interesting. She said, I just don't know how to end things with people that I date. Did you catch that? And I was like, ooh, but she's like 23, 22. She's learning.
I like Jess.
I do
She
too.
seems
so
very sweet.
Yeah,
I think
but-
she is so genuine.
Mm-hmm.
I think she just wants to make people happy, and I think she always puts everyone else first before herself. And I think that's why she gets emotional. It's because she's like trying to not do that.
Okay. All right.
I would like you to apologize to Jess
For what?
for all those mean things you just
What did
said.
I say? Jess, I apologize.
There we go. Do you want to be right? You want to be
Nick
happy?
is growing. Everyone, Nick is growing.
All right. I think
Taylor-
it's Squid Game time.
You don't think you don't want to talk Taylor Swift at Lambeau Field?
I absolutely want to talk Taylor Swift at Lambeau Field, but we have Fhalisia,
Oh, of course. I'm so sorry.
who's going to be
Yes.
on. So we'll get
Pressing.
to Taylor Swift,
Beautiful
After.
teaser.
Beverly Hills Housewives, and all your other pop culture burning topics after we get to some Squid Games. All right, let's bring on Fhalisia. The holidays are the busiest time of year. Don't get stuck worrying about shipping orders. Let ShipStation do the heavy lifting so you and your team can put your time, money, and energy into the more important things. That's right. Well, we've been talking about ShipStation, I think, pretty much since this show started. Well, it's because ShipStation is kicking butt in helping small businesses, well, businesses of any size, really, helping them meet their high shipping demands, especially during the holiday season. It's amazing how wonderful ShipStation integrates with whatever platform you're using, especially ones like Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, and more. You can quickly and easily update critical orders and information and reduce orders. You can get discounts of up to 84% on USPS and UPS rates. 84%. That's incredible. And when it comes to shipping, I mean, if you have an online business of any kind, usually your shipping costs are your highest cost to run your company. Over 130,000 companies have scaled their e-commerce business with ShipStation, and 98% of those companies that stick with ShipStation for a year become customers for life. You cannot beat this type of deal. And right now, you can try ShipStation for free. A free 60-day trial just by going to ShipStation. ShipStation manages orders, print labels, compares rates, optimizes every shipment, and automates delivery notifications. Let your customers shop risk-free this holidays with ShipStation. Go to ShipStation.com and use code VIALL today and sign up for a free 60-day trial. That's ShipStation.com, code VIALL. ShipStation.com, code VIALL. Skylight Frame, give you the gift of love and consideration this holiday with Skylight Frame.
I won best grandchild of the ever because I gave
the
my
ever.
grandma a skylight frame. Like, she loves it so much. And the thing that's amazing about this gift is not only is there like this moment of pure joy when she unwraps it, Skylight is awesome. You can easily preload photos. So that way, right when your loved one unpacks it, they've already got some happy memories on there. And then you can continue to send them. So it's such a great way to like stay in touch with my grandmother because I'll upload photos. So even if I don't have time to give her a call, I can always like quickly, seamlessly send her a photo. I know it's going to show up right on her frame. And then the next time we do talk on the phone, we have so many wonderful things to talk about.
It's so great. It's also a great and clever way of making all your loved ones feel special. I've already told this story. Natalie and I went and visited some friends back in Wisconsin. We stopped by to see their new house. We walked in and they had this big picture frame of Natalie and I on their wall. And we were like, oh my God, you're obsessed with us. And they're like, yes, of course. But really what it was is a skylight frame. They just updated a new photo in their skylight frame that's on their wall. It made us feel very special. And you can do that with all your friends and loved ones too.
Skylight is a touchscreen photo frame that you can send photos to straight from your phone, and they will appear in seconds. You can even preload photos before the box is opened, which is such a great way to make it pop as a gift. It truly is such a versatile gift. I got one for my grandmother. Now I'm getting them for my mom because my mom was kind of jealous.
And a special limited time offer for our listeners. Get $15 off your purchase of Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com/files, FILES, to get $15 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame. Just go to skylightframe.com/FILES. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/FILES. Get $15 off Skylight Frames at skylightframe.com/FILES. Welcome, Fhalisia, player 229.
Woo!
All right, round of applause.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yay.
This is my favorite show on television right now. It is so wild, so crazy. I was so excited for it to come out. It did not disappoint. So, first of all, just kind of welcome. We're so excited to talk to you're our first Squid Games challenger contestant on our show. How was the experience overall? Like, just in general, like, how did you get on? Like, were you nervous about going? And then what was your first impressions once you got to shooting the show?
Yeah, I literally just saw it as a opportunity in my inbox, and it said that, hey, would you like to apply for Squid Game, the challenge? And I was like, well, I'm pretty competitive and I want to win $4.56 million. So why not? And so I applied, and then I did my little video. I got a call back. I think I did it on Tuesday, and I got a call back on Friday that the casting guy said, he didn't even finish watching it because I was dancing too much. And he's like, I loved it. You're in as long as you got a passport. And so, I was like, well, this will be an exciting time. It was going to be shot in London, and I was just so pumped that I could go to London, honestly. No more than that. Really didn't even know if I would get past the first challenge, which is red light, green light. But I made it through, and when I made it through, keep going through challenges, it was just more like, okay, maybe I could win that.
Holy, yeah, that's crazy. What were some of I've been on some reality TV as well. They do some like screen testing. I think a lot of people are like kind of fascinated by like, the psychology behind the show. Was it a pretty invasive kind of screen testing? Like, obviously they're like, hey, you're in, but when you got there, did you have to do like any psych tests or what kind of background checks did you have to do to make sure that you were prepared for this type of intensity?
Yeah, they do a social media check. They do some physical. We have to, clear, make sure that we're healthy in order to be on, make sure that we are mentally sane, that we're really not trying to kill contestants off of Squid Game, the challenge. But yeah, it's pretty legit going in, and they walk you through the whole thing. It's not like they are just, here you go, you're in. They are definitely behind you every step of the way.
At what point, because I'm watching it, and to me, fairly quickly, I thought, okay, like, they have such a wide range of people, young, old, all, across the spectrum, personalities, physical, characteristics, some young, D1 athletes. Then you had Rick, elderly gentleman, across the board. And quickly, to me, it was like the number one skill to me to survive this show is the ability to blend in almost, to not, did you pick up on that pretty quickly? And at what point did you kind of start thinking about what's the strategy that I have to use to get through? Because obviously a lot of alliances were made early on, but that seemed to be a disadvantage for people because if people started seeing you kind of clumping up, you got a target on your back. How did you kind of play it early on?
Yeah, I had no strategy going in, but what I did see is that the people that were outspoken, the people that were, trying to get big groups together, those are the people that were actually eliminated. I'm just very outgoing. And so it kind of was a little challenging, the social aspect of it, to not want to just go and jump in and play a game and get everybody together. Yeah, it was essentially that. Just lay low, don't speak unless you're spoken to. But that also could be a disadvantage in this game too. You have to speak to people, as you saw, or maybe you've seen, like people getting eliminated because they didn't speak to somebody.
Yeah, so some people were like, "Hey, I've never spoken to you. Fuck you. You're out." Shit like that.
Yeah.
That is wild. We've heard rumblings that red light, green light lasted a lot longer than it seemed like. Is that something you are able to talk about? Because it really, the one lady who was squatting for a while, and then it seemed like after 2 minutes she's like, "Fuck it." I'm like, I mean, squatting's hard, but come on, girl. It seemed like she was holding that position much longer than people realized.
For sure. I just say this: if you want to be on Squid Game, the challenge season 2. You just have to find out exactly how long it's going to be. But I would say anywhere from 30 minutes to about 10 hours.
Okay.
10 hours.
Yeah. I mean, listen, they're making a TV show. I mean, it's just one of those things. You just have to understand, that.
Yeah.
Not everything.
It was definitely not let me squat for, 2 minutes.
Gotcha,
it was definitely a lot longer.
And which makes it even more impressive, just the red light, green light seems so hard.
Easy, right?
Well, I mean,
the game, yeah.
Well,
the game
just
itself is hard.
Yeah, just to like freeze just for a moment, because if people twitched, they got out. But now, even if you had to hold that position for 2 minutes, like, I'm sorry, I'm an itchy guy, like I might.
I'm an itchy guy.
Well, I
Okay.
noticed they had a
Like-
strategy of their hands were in their pockets, a lot of them. Did you see that when they would run?
Oh,
Some people would lay down.
they'd-
Yeah.
yeah,
Did
they'd-
you come up with any sort of strategy throughout that?
I mean, I don't know if it really mattered once you were able, because we were all talking about what we were going to do, what would be the best thing. People were like, I'm going to lay down, but I'm just slow when I'm getting up in general, even off my couch. So like, there would be no way in hell that I would be able to get up in time. But to kind of go back to that comment you made, it was pretty fucking cold that day. And I think it was like the biggest cold front we had, or London had. And it was so cold. And it was an easy way to keep our hands close to our bodies, and then also
yeah,
just
that
to
makes
keep us
sense.
warm was
Yeah.
to keep it there too. So it was freezing.
When people died and they like fell over, it was beautiful. Like I loved it. I loved the like everyone's playing their part. How did that come to be?
I think, if you're going to get out, you might as well just like get your shine, get your 5 minutes.
There you go.
I mean, I don't know. I think it was announced that you can like act like you were being shot, being dramatic, but definitely wasn't shot. Definitely didn't hurt.
I
just
love that
games.
people did that. It made it a little bit more,
Yeah.
like sad when people
Yeah.
died. It like, and then you could tell some people were like, fuck this, I'm just standing here. And they're like,
That
they're
was
no
me.
fun.
That was me.
Well, maybe because you were mad. How did you die again? I forget.
Marbles.
Yeah.
Wait,
Marbles.
you died. Oh, that's right. Because Ashley was like, it should be you going forward. Oh, yeah. Which
Don't get me started, guys.
what line were you in for the cookie game? Because I have.
Mm.
Yeah, I was in Star.
You were in Star. The whole time where I'm watching it, I was thinking, I was trying to have like my strategy. And I was like, if I were in the umbrella line and I want to know what you think, Phalisia, having been there and if this would have worked. But I was thinking, who was ever in the umbrella line, when they go into that room and everyone's basically trying to bully them into like staying with their number, I would have been like, we're either all going to die or we play paper, rock, scissors, head to head. And the person who loses 2 games is umbrella. And that would have been the only fair way. And I feel like that would have worked if you would have said like, because so many players were like, especially towards the end, like, what's the most fair way? And people got on board with that.
There, not to give too much away, but it was a rule, and it wasn't just said, you didn't hear it on the announcer, but you cannot play a game to make a choice. You have to decide. Just so everybody knows.
Okay. Well, that's
they tried,
helpful
They
because
tried the like running
Running.
thing, and it
yeah,
didn't really.
I was screaming paper, rock, scissors, and no one came up with it. And they were, there were a lot of smart, intelligent people on this show, but that does make a lot of sense.
I'm
Okay.
sure there also would have been someone who's like, I'm not playing a game to decide this.
Right.
We're not playing a game. Like we're just gonna just
Well,
who
I like
was
that
the
they-
girl who was with Dylan who in Marbles who was like, we're not.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, I'm not throwing it. And he's like,
Aurora?
yeah,
That was
she's-
stressful.
Well, she just wanted to get more game of chance, which was an option. But you couldn't make up a new game, is basically what you're saying. If a game was an option, you could play that game, but you couldn't go rogue. That makes sense. I mean, I wish they would have just announced it. Did the Squid Game guys, when they spoke to you,
The guards. Yeah.
did they? This seems like a dumb question, but like their voice sounded almost. Did you hear their voice through their masks, or was it like a voice on a speaker?
They're definitely paid actors. And I would say the voice that was, no, it was not their voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't
That's all
even
right.
say.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
not
this is
a
stuff
figure,
that
yeah.
it's like fun. It doesn't take away from the amazingness of the show.
I mean,
It was coming through in that real
Okay.
time for sure.
Okay, yeah,
But
that
yeah.
makes sense.
we saw a TikTok of Trey talking about the glass walk or whatever, glass bridge.
that
Yeah.
was so
And he was
cool.
saying that they had a stunt double come in and like you just had to squat fast and then they replaced you with a stunt double
No
that
way.
would fall through.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I did wonder they weren't hooked up to anything. I'm like, dang, they really
'Cause
just let him
they
fall.
fucking fell. Like, it looked so real. Like, I'm glad they did that because it made the show so much cooler
Yep.
and so much more intense.
I know that was Ashley.
They were pretty high though. They were pretty high in there.
Yeah. I know Ashley is your friend. What did you think of
Mhm.
her stance during Glass Bridge?
I said, you better work, girl. You better work, bitch. You better not let anyone tell you what to do. If you are only there for yourself. And people forget this is like Squid Game, the challenge. Like there is not more than one winner. And I'm just like, this is not a team game. Why does people keep thinking this is friends and, Squid Game friend? No, you're here to play by yourself. And
That's true.
she did her thing 100%.
I'm assuming that's essentially what, you'll keep that stance when we're going to talk about you sending Rick home.
Oh, hell yeah.
Have you been getting a lot of shit for that?
Oh, fuck yes. Yeah. I mean, literally I think it was yesterday, I just posted a tweet of like a screenshot of people just attacking my business and giving me bad, negative or
Are you serious?
1-star reviews.
Oof.
And I'm like, this is my livelihood you guys are messing with. Like, this is more than a game now.
That's ugly. I
like-
hate that.
Yeah. And, besides me being that, I'm apparently racist, I'm sexist, I'm just, all the things.
Those are what
and-
the nasty trolls are saying.
That is what, that's what the trolls are saying. I've gotten death threats over this. This is not something that, I just got out of this game. People are really attacking me for what I did to Steven and Rick, which eliminate them because this is Squid Game.
I'm sorry you had to deal with that. No, get me wrong. I was salty when you sent my boy home, Rick. I was like, no, not the old man. But like, I got it. Like it's
Everyone has to go home.
you're
at
in
some
it for
point.
yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to and Rick, for his, as old as he was and as gentle, he was a fucking killer. And that man was
He's wise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That man was smart. I mean, if you thought Mai was too old to win, clearly,
No, yeah.
She's a fucking killer. How she was able
She's a
to
beast, too.
navigate a target on her back for the last few rounds is really impressive. What was your did you think May would make it to as far as she did?
I didn't. Honestly, she was definitely a lay lower. I don't know if that's the word, but she wasn't really a person that was out front and center until, those top 9. And so it was like, whoa, where did she come from? I did see her in the dorm and she was very lovable, very likable. Her and, can't remember her number. Don't kill me, Jada. Jada were really close too. Very motherly figure, just gorgeous spirit, but hell, she's a beast.
Yeah.
She is a competitor. She's a beast.
Because it was at the end, it seemed like everyone thought May was like their ride or die, like TJ. Like every time that TJ had a chance to like save or help someone, he's like, May, I'm helping her out. Meanwhile, there are like 3 other people that were like, if I get to save someone, it's going to be May. I'm like, she's a fucking killer.
Yeah, her and Chad.
Yeah, it was wild. What were some other just kind of big surprises that, or any behind the scenes that you're able or allowed to share? Just like obviously the living conditions seem kind of nuts. Were you even able to sleep? Like when it was like 100 some people, I would feel very uncomfy being in that size of room with a bunch of strangers. Like what was that like?
It was rough. I mean, I sleep in pitch black, darkness, and also naked. And so you had to wear your uniform 24/7. And the glowing light from the piggy bank was just driving me up the wall. So I was sleep deprived. People are snoring, like they're getting the best, 8-10 hours of their life. And yeah, I did not sleep at all. And that's also why I was sleep deprived, emotional. We don't know what time we're actually going to bed. We don't know what time we're waking up. It was really rough. It felt like a little prison. We didn't see daylight. We didn't know what time it was. The food was just god awful. And I'm a big foodie.
Yeah. No, I can relate. I recently did a show called Special Forces. Different, but some similarities, and the food was brutal.
I don't know. We were in this container pretty much, just an incubator, but we didn't have chapstick. Apparently that was one thing that they forgot or just didn't think about. And so I know that there was a stock of condoms for whatever reason. I mean, I just used it as lube for for fucking. Yeah.
Were there hookups?
No,
No way.
That's why there's condoms there. They probably were just like, hey, we don't know. They're bringing in 400 plus people.
Yeah, but
It's
on
an
the twin beds with everyone in the room.
It's an intense atmosphere. You're bonding over intense situations. There's probably closets and corners. Like, people gonna fuck. Who hooked up?
There can only be one winner.
Squid Game.
If you're gonna fuck at Squid Games, you don't get to keep that secret.
Like, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
I would say I don't know for sure if they fucked, but I can say that I was in the bathroom when they both were in the shower.
And they would be.
There's a love triangle going on. Just search the internet, and I'm sure you guys could find it.
Okay. Amanda, love
Get
triangle.
on it now.
Squid Games.
Google now.
No way.
That's crazy though that they like had. I mean, I guess they're
No, it
just
makes
promoting
sense. Why-
safe sex.
Yeah, they're just being
Notable-
safe.
Was
Yeah.
it notable people that
Safety.
Yeah, safety.
notable people that were like given a story, people that we would know?
We're gonna find out.
No.
Amanda's gonna
Oh.
Google.
Amanda's typing in
No.
words.
She's like, who is this love triangle?
So you guys really never saw sunlight. Like, you guys were never taken outside, nothing like that.
No.
No, I mean a little bit. I guess there would be breaks, but we were in a tent. Like, it's literally we would go outside to get fresh air, but there was tent, so we couldn't really see daylight.
Wow.
So it was like, okay, well, Yeah.
Wow.
it was
But
rough.
overall, you sounds like you're glad you did the experience.
I'm so happy I did it. A bitch got a tough skin, so I'm more than happy. Even though I cried the entire time, yes, I was very happy that I did it for sure.
And I'm assuming just like the emotions, just because obviously, and that was another thing. They showed a lot of people crying at times, but can you give some context to just the intensity of the atmosphere and why it was so emotional for people?
You're taken away from everything, what you are used to, your norm. Food is huge for me. My family is huge for me. My daughter, I think she just turned 1, like 1 in 3 months. And so I didn't know if I was missing like her first couple words, and just you're not able to talk to anybody except for those people around you and the production team. So you literally don't know, you're 456 people, strangers, or 455. And yeah, you have to get to know these people, which is probably the ultimate challenge versus just the game itself. And you're sleep deprived, right? You're hungry, and it's emotional. You don't know if you're going to go home. You want to be there, and it's the biggest prize ever. But you just know that, like, okay, I have to stay because I'm doing it for people that I love, for my family. It's one of those catch-22s, those weird things of, like, I just want to see my baby. I want to hold him, and I want to tell my wife, like, babe, I made it to the next round, but we can't share this experience. It's only what you're doing and who's in there right there.
Oh, how long ago did you guys finish filming? Like, how long did you kind of have to keep the secret that you were on Squid Game?
I think we got done. I think it was like roughly around end of February-ish.
Okay.
So yeah, it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty long, but it's actually pretty short compared to other things I've seen. I think like Love Is Blind or something, or Ultimatum.
They have a pretty. They can
2
take
years.
a while. Yeah, it can take a while. It really. That's just the production of stuff. But did you expect Phil to go as far as he did? Fucking Phil, man.
Phil, he's so sweet. I don't know who I guess I expected to go through.
I guess because it's so random, right?
There's luck too.
Yeah, there's so much luck involved.
Yeah, I guess I definitely saw Sam for sure going through, because me and him were BFFs too there, which is funny because you don't really get to see all the friends forming and the bonds, you get to see like a couple, which, I was friends with a lot of groups, and all you see me is with Ashley. You don't really get to see me with Sam. And we bonded, and like, he was the one that calmed me down, and Dalgona, the cookie. And I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, oh, hell no. Like, we got Star. Like, I haven't even practiced Star. Like, and he's calming me down, and he was my rock in there. So, yeah.
It seemed like with the cookie, a lot of people made the mistake of putting their thumb on the cookie instead of the outside of the cookie. So if any pressure they applied, they would crack the cookie. But they just obviously it was so intense and lasting so long, they probably forgot about their thumb placement, because every time someone cracked their cookie, it was their thumb
They're touching it.
Yeah, pushing down on it.
That was
with
hard scenes for me to watch. All the licking,
the
I know.
licking and the
spitting.
vomiting.
And the
Yeah.
guy who got stuck with Umbrella. Oh, I
Oh my
felt so
God.
bad. The pressure on that guy.
I really want to find out. I don't,
Spencer.
if you have any insight through Ashley, the very final stage that led down to the final three, where they had to that was so killer. That was such a cool game.
Mm-hmm.
But and then they had the Squid Game guys walking around in a circle, because I really wanted to know, was it all intuition, or were they? I want to know if they smelled people, because a lot of you probably had some weird body odors by that time, and I'm really, because Phil went 2 for 2, and I want to
Yeah.
know, did he smell people? Could he see through the mask? Was it
Below.
hearing people? I really was curious. Do you have any read on that? What kind of senses they were using while trying to play that game?
All of the above. So yes, people smelled really bad. And yes, they have their own distinct smell. Especially if you've been in that group for a little bit, you can be like, okay, that person smells like just, crazy. But then, but it's also instinct, right? And then also just strategy. For instance, Ashley, she's like, I know I'm not going to put it on Hallie's desk because she's going to guess me because we didn't really talk, right? And I told her, I said, why didn't you just put it on Sam's desk? He's your BFF. You guys are close. Why didn't you just do that? I would have put it on her desk because she wouldn't have second guessed it being me. But I think she's overthinking it, and she doesn't have a poker face. But yeah, I 100%. It's all of the above. It's strategy. It's intuition. It's body odor. It's everything.
Wow, what a cutthroat game. Anyone else have any questions for Phalisia?
Well, I saw according to the Netflix bio, that you do tarot cards. Is that right?
I do. Yes, I'm not a pro, but I'm definitely. I could read something.
If you were going to pick a card that kind of encompasses the vibe of either your specific experience or just the Squid Game, the challenge in general, what would you pick?
The Fool, because which is everyone. It's a starting point for everyone's journey, right? Everyone. You don't know where it's going to take you, and you don't want to be the fool on anything. You don't want to have to be the one making the wrong decisions. You want to be open to different things. With the Fool, you're going through a journey of you not knowing, and just everything that comes your way, you're just taking for what it is. And I think that's kind of everyone stands in just this game in general, and I think possibly life too. You just don't know where you're going to be.
That's awesome.
Wait, I have a question. Okay, so why Rick? I mean, obviously I get sending people home, period. But I'm just curious, was it an alliance thing, or was it a strategic Rick and Mullet? I can't think of his name. Steve?
Steven?
Yeah, Steven.
I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna give you the full story because I feel like people are getting pieces here. And I'm just gonna lay it out on the line here. Okay, so the game prior to me doing Jack in the Box was Warships, right? But everybody was lining up for Tug of War and thinking that it was going to be tug of war. Before we even get into our lines in the white room, the game room, people have already picked out who they were going to play with. And there was a few male dominant heavy lines. And then there was also, I think, one solid line full of men, right? They are lining up for Tug of War. They obviously didn't pick us little women because they thought we were a weakness, right? I mean, I would probably prefer to be on a male dominant, line. But anyway, we all get in there. It's obviously not Tug of War. It's Warship. But I did Jack in the Box just because I had an opportunity to possibly get an advantage. We haven't seen the advantage the entire time of what that would be. Also, too, just in Warships, I was a sitting duck. I was the first one to get hit. I thought I was out. I thought I was done. And it was just one of those games where you just hope for the best. And so I picked my hands up. I put my hand up to do it because maybe I could change the game, my course of the game. What can I do? I wanted the advantage. That's what my mind said I needed. So I did it. I lifted my hand, or I got to my box. Well, actually, I ended up picking the box at the very end. And then I was like, no, intuition is telling me to go somewhere else. And so I got to the third box. From there, everybody else is getting called. I was like, what the fuck? Really? I hate talking in front of people. One of my biggest fears of like talking in a full like room. And so one, I'm crying because I don't want to go home. Two, I'm crying because I have to talk in front of people no matter what. And so I open my box, and obviously I know it's not the advantage because the guy who just, just had it. So I'm like, either I'm going home, or I have this 3 elimination. I don't want to be the reason why people go home. No, I don't want to do that, but it's the nature of the game. So we put it up. It's that the 3 elimination, I'm relieved. But then I'm like, oh shit, now I gotta have to tell who I need to eliminate. I've gotten so many like things like, why didn't you just eliminate one person from, Trey and Leanne's group, and then one person from Rick and Steven? And then I'm like, well, you can't just take out one. You have to take out both. They both were leaders, right? Both groups. Steven and Rick. Steven is like, they call him Quadzilla, right? His ass is absolutely ridiculous. He plays rugby. He's super strong. Like, come on. And
plus, if you would have taken
Rick,
out Rick, he would have eliminated you. You would have had a bigger target on your back.
Right. That's a good point, because then Steven eliminates her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then Rick, why? So in the dorms and how it works, it's like the easiest game of telephone you can ever play, because once you say one thing, it's, all over within like 30 minutes. But it was getting back to us that, hey, he's super wise. He can play every game well. He knows, he's practiced Dalgona, the umbrella for like, he knows how to master it. He plays marbles, dachi. We obviously saw how that went. So he plays every game. He knows how to play it and really well. Super wise guy. And I just saw, mind you can't really see this shot, but it looks like we're kind of looking from afar. My bed was actually right next to where the Gambu gang used to hang out. And I would see this group just form and get bigger and bigger and bigger every single day. So, and I saw who was running and who was the leader. And it was definitely Rick and definitely Steven. Just as much as they're lovable outside the game, that's how they were inside the game. People gravitated towards those two, especially Rick because of his age and how smart he was. So
took him out by his knees.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought it was really smart you eliminated the guy that got the advantage. That would have never even crossed my mind. That was genius.
It's like, all right, boom, you're dead.
He's so happy for 1 minute.
It didn't cross my mind either until I was like, who the hell is the third person? They, just so you know, they actually switched that around backwards. So I actually said the elimination, I think, last. And they kind of made it to where I said it first.
Oh, you sent Scott and Rick home first, and then you were like, hey, I don't know who my third person is. Fuck it. I'll just send home the guy who just got an advantage. That makes total sense.
But yeah, it was, it
was strategy.
I don't know. I feel like it was the most simplest, I guess, reasoning, because we just literally thought it was going to be a physical game, and I'm not about to let this guy just beat me because he has quads of a freaking angel. Like, I'm not. Like,
you did the right thing. I got one final question. Trey and Leanne, too close to mommy or a healthy relationship? Because to me, I'm watching it and like, listen, I love my mom as much as the next person, like super close relationship with my mom. But make a friend, like they were about to have a picnic and I was screaming at him. I'm like, someone else. Have a picnic with someone else. And I was like, you fucking deserved to go head to head with your mom. It's just like, and his mom, I loved her. She was a killer, man. She would have never gone out like her son did. He panicked on I know, versus Ashley, hold your own, dude. Like, he was just like, he didn't have mommy there hit. Mom would have never have done that. She never would have done that.
Mom would have not. Leanne is 100% a beast. I think Trey just kind of just lost sight of what the goal was, or like, I don't know. I have no clue what happened. I think he just more like the game got to him. And then he just went for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Leanne is a sweetheart. Trey's a sweetheart. But Leanne and Trey, they were close, but they would be like together all the time, right? Like, you see them together all the time because that's what, we want to be shown. But they were also out, meeting different people and talking to different people. I think Leanne has also other children. And I think Trey is definitely the more competitive one, and everybody else is just kind of more chill. And so that's why Leanne was there, because Trey made Leanne actually do that.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's good to know, because it seemed like Trey needed mommy all the time. It's a bad Pete for him a little bit. I don't know. But thank you for clearing the air there. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Tons of fun. And I'm sorry you're going through any of that internet bullying. That's bullshit. And leave everyone alone. I mean, interact with them if you want, ask some questions, but chill the fuck out, man.
Yeah.
It literally is just a game.
Yeah.
Can you please let my audience know where they can find you? Plug all your stuff that you're doing.
Yeah. I have a podcast called The Paranoid Sisters, and you can find us on any platform that you get your podcast. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Phalisia, Phalisia, or Twitter, Phalisia2. And yeah.
Phalisia,
Amazing.
we appreciate it so much. Congratulations on making it as far as you did. It was a lot of fun to watch you and the rest of your cast. We really appreciate it. And good luck in the future.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bye, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
If you still have some last-minute shopping to do before December 25th, don't worry. Our show sponsors Highland Titles have you covered with an incredibly popular downloadable gift. Imagine that you can become a lord or a lady for just $30 by buying a plot of land from highlandtitles.com. Will allow you to make use of a Scottish tradition in which landowners are given a courtesy title. All you have to do is buy 1 square foot of land from Highland Titles Estate in Scotland for just $30, and you'll become a lord or lady of the Glen. You'll get a legal right of ownership to your land, which you can visit anytime. Upon placing your order, you will receive details of your plot by email, along with a link to take you to the exact location of your plot on Google Maps. You can take a 360-degree tour of the land and download a personalized certificate confirming your right to style yourself as a lord or lady of the Glen. Check it out at highlandtitles.com and use the discount code Viall Files to get 25% off your order. That's code Viall Files to get 25% off your order at highlandtitles.com. All right, are you feeling lucky this holiday season? Unwrap the first of many presents this season with holidays on the house from DraftKings Casino. With hundreds of games, prizes, and promos, DraftKings Casino has everything on your list. Right now, new players who play $5 get $100 instantly in casino credits. What are you waiting for? Cozy up with all the classics like slots, blackjacks, and roulette, and play exclusive games you'll only find at DraftKings Casino to feel the holiday cheer all season long. It's one of my favorite ways to pass the time during the holidays. Sometimes, you just got to break away from the fam. And sometimes you got to get the juice going. And you can do that with DraftKings Casino. Download the DraftKings Casino app now and sign up with promo code Viall Files and play $5 to get $100 in casino credits. That's promo code Viall Files only at DraftKings Casino. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling at 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 years or older, physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. 1 per opted-in new customer. $5 wager required. Max $100 in casino credit awarded, which require one-time playthrough within 7 days. Terms at casino.draftkings.com/holidays on the house. Restrictions apply. Well, that was a lot of fun. Squid Games. Who do you think is going to win?
I weirdly feel like Phil's going to win.
Fucking Phil.
I just feel like
He's too happy for me.
He was really confident at the gift giving. There's something about him that makes me feel like he'll just win. Underdog energy.
He might. Yeah, I hope it's May.
Yeah.
I really want it to be May. Phil,
Sam is the third, right?
Yeah, I like
him.
Sam.
We don't know much
Okay.
about Phil yet. They haven't really told us his backstory, have they?
A little bit. He was kind of talked about how he was bullied a lot.
That's right.
Younger.
When he moved, yeah.
And then he moved and he decided to just be happy about fucking everything. Seems like a sweet guy. But
Yeah, Maya's definitely the more like the story. And
I just like she's a fucking killer.
she is.
What are you looking at, babe?
Oh, I was just reading that Kourtney Kardashian ingests her juicy placenta pills after her son's birth.
Ooh, what does that mean?
Well, she
Juice-
put her placenta in 2 pills and she takes them now.
Oh my, is that a thing?
Yeah.
It is a thing. I can't even drink a green juice, so I will not be eating the
Is that
placenta.
proven science or is that an LA?
No, it is definitely
Hocus
there's
pocus
so,
thing?
no, it's true. I mean, like there's so much nutrients in your placenta. I mean, it obviously is like what is
Well, can't you just put it into a pill and
Yeah, that's what they do.
swallow it?
that's what people
Put
are
it in
doing.
capsules.
That's what. But you can't do that.
I don't think I could take. I don't think I could
I mean,
swallow
babe.
like my organ every day.
They say
Would it be beneficial for me?
I don't know.
They say it helps with like postpartum depression, I think. But I've heard that the most nutrient benefit way to do it is to like put it in a smoothie, like to actually eat it and not have it in the pill.
Thank you. Again, I cannot even drink a green juice.
Well, let's
so, like,
just put it on the table and literally.
He starts like putting it in your dinner every night, slowly.
you start feeding me
Secretly.
my own
Babe, it's
placenta.
for our
Like Sweeney
kid.
Todd.
No, you're like, I'm trying this new dish tonight. You'll
okay.
really love it. Gross.
Wow. Now I'm just reading all about placenta.
I'm really Taylor Swift. We were gonna go to the.
Don't-
But
what?
it's your fault.
Oh boy. Hash it
Well,
out.
We got the lake. The lake house is about 40 minutes away from Green Bay, Wisconsin. You have to fly into Green Bay.
Okay, I'm putting it together.
And we've been talking about maybe trying to go up one more time before we don't travel anymore. TBD. And the lake is frozen over now, so it's like slightly less charming. And then last night we're watching the game. Taylor Swift flies in a Lambo. Chiefs versus Packers. My beloved Packers. It felt weird rooting against Taylor's best interest, but I think she understands. And then all of a sudden Natalie was like, I would have loved to go to the game. And I'm like, it's 20 degrees outside. I remember vividly Natalie at some point being, I'd love to go to a game. I will never stand out in the freezing cold. But last night, Natalie was like, we should have gone, babe. It would have been so much fun. I think it's fun to like go to the cold games and figure out what you need to wear.
Yeah,
and like,
Nick literally comes out before the game even starts with 14 jackets on. He's like, this is what I would have worn to
No
the
way.
game. Yeah. He's like breaking down why he chose each piece. I'm like, literally, the game is about to begin. Like, what
Get
are
ready
you
with
doing?
me video.
well, imagine Natalie, I'm going to hold you to it. Natalie wants to go to a cold weather Packer game.
No, I
so.
wanted to go be in the same vicinity as Miss Tay. And the Packers, it was a great game. Packers won. It was so good. And yeah, would have loved to gone, but Nick didn't care enough to take me.
Oh,
What is
Wow.
this? Brittany
Hurdle.
Mahomes shows off giant Christmas decorations.
At her house, I would
Is
assume.
that at her house? Is this like on the gram? I love a Christmas decorator.
Okay.
But are we not going to talk about the fact that they were together and holding hands and holding arms and being very cutesy together, even despite Britney's Skims campaign?
That's true. And I did hear, I believe, a love you when they were departing between Miss Brittany and Miss Tay.
Well, like I said a few weeks ago, I mean, it's highly likely she did the campaign prior to their friendship. And two, maybe, and probably, Taylor just isn't that petty. And maybe there was a conversation and maybe it was nothing. Maybe Taylor's just like, I don't care. I'm over it. Like, obviously, she didn't have any malicious intentions, Brittany. She got her bag and like, it's clearly not something. I think we should look at this and recognize that maybe Taylor has like moved on from that drama that she had with Kim and Kanye. And maybe they're not like having dinner parties and maybe they're not besties, but maybe they have moved on. And I do think fans need to pay attention to shit like that because fans will hold on to grudges much, much longer than the celebrities that they're like, stumping for. And it's just like, you're fighting a battle that your celebrity that you're advocating for isn't even fighting. So maybe let's not internet bully Brittany Mahomes because you think you're defending Taylor Swift.
Right, like the
Right.
degrees of separation are getting too much for like something that's already kind of dead. Like this is not like a Scooter Braun situation where you could feel like the beef is more fresh and active. This is old beef. It's dried.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
Housewives.
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 The dinner party.
This was a good one.
It was a great episode. We also have Crystal Minkoff this week going deeper. from Beverly Hills Housewives to get more insight on, well, Crystal in general, but this season of Housewives and the dinner party.
No, she's exciting, especially because, I mean, you watch this episode. She does play a role in like the drama and the conversations. But this is like an iconic episode for two reasons. One, it's like a pantheon episode. So they're bringing back like old housewives that have some kind of iconic tie to like the ones currently on the show. And then two, it's a weed dinner. So they're all having like different dishes with different levels of doses.
It killed me when they went through and gave the dose for each one of them. And some of them were like, 1 milligram. And I'm like, that's not going to do shit.
Nothing, yeah.
And that's allowed, but also that is not going to do shit.
Do you think Denise was already taking edible before she got there? Or was it alcohol?
I feel like she wasn't that intoxicated. Like, I think the cameras are just capitalizing on the fact that she's like there. Because when they shot this episode, like way back when, someone had like zoomed into like a photo that I think Garcelle posted and saw her like dinner card on the table. So people knew that she was going to be there. So I think they're just like, might as well show her. Also because her faces are like...
Yeah, her facial expressions are... She seems like she's
shocked.
So fucked up.
Yeah, a little bit.
And can you break down for our audience the Faye and Camille drama?
Honestly, I don't know too much about the earlier Housewives. I think...
Because they seem to really fucking hate each other.
Yeah, Faye got up and moved when she realized she was across from Camille.
I don't know.
I don't remember what happened either.
Yeah, Camille and Faye are OG Housewives. Like, they're from the first season. So I
From
think
Bev Hills?
Yeah.
Wait,
so
Faye who?
Resnick.
She was never a housewife.
Faye Resnick. Why do I know that
I think
name?
She was in... Wait, right?
I think she was the first season.
Camille was, for sure.
No, I don't think Faye was on the first
Oh,
season.
she might just be a friend of
Faye was a friend of...
Okay, she might just be a friend. Yeah.
But like a long-time player in the...
She was involved in...
But Allie can tell us.
Isn't she was involved with the O.J. Simpson murder trial?
What?
Yeah.
Faye Resnick was?
Yeah.
In what capacity? Like, did she like throw away the sheets?
I don't know that much about the O.J. Simpson murder, which I feel like is maybe a real blind spot.
Because she was friends with Nicole, Nicole Brown
shit.
Simpson.
Oh. So then definitely did not throw away the sheets. Anyway, so she's been in the limelight for some time. And Madeleine, you said you did a movie with Denise Richards?
I did. She played my mom. Isn't that fun? She was so sweet. She was so cool. We like drank tequila together. She was awesome.
What was the movie?
It's this like cute little movie. It was called Switched. It was very Freaky Friday, where I switch places with the, less cool girl, and then we learn a lot about each other, and it's a heartwarming story.
Okay.
But Denise was great, and she had just signed on to do Housewives at that time. This was back in like 2019, and we were filming in Kentucky. And I mean, she was loving it. She was like, "I love being on the show. It's so fun." But this was kind of before the next season when everyone kind of came down on her. But no, she was lovely, and she was a blast. She gave me some fun insider scoop that I probably shouldn't share. But she
are here.
Yeah. No, just about like her first season and people, to look out for and this and that. But
who did she say to look out for?
No one. No, just she was like, certain people I don't trust, I guess, yet. She was getting her feet wet with it. Yeah.
Do you ever remember a time where Sutton admitted she was wrong, Justin? Because it sure seems like she is never wrong.
I don't think she admits she's wrong.
Like ever.
But she's never really like lying about anything.
No, but like
it's always an excuse. So like the American Ballet. Like it's never I'm wrong, it's there was a reason.
Or like her acting out had to do with like when she was telling Kyle about
her ex-husband.
Her ex-husband, who she's no longer married to, who's moving, and now she gets full custody of her kid
and more money.
And it was positioning it as something that Kyle is supposed to empathize with her for.
I found that intriguing. Yeah. Were you fully on kind of like Kyle's viewpoint of like
100% team Kyle there. Yeah.
It was interesting because I kind of jumped into this episode after I've started like season 1, like way back, and then jumped in here. And so I don't have all of like the Sutton context. It seems like she maybe does this a lot, whereas like I could kind of see how even if it's, it's going to be good, stuff being like up in the air with custody stuff could be just inherently stressful. But it really did seem overwhelmingly positive. So it seemed like she was just kind of like looking for like trying to weaponize being offended about something to throw back at Kyle.
And then other than the fact that it's just Housewives, and I guess it's what they do. Like, why are all these women entitled to get an update on Kyle Richards' marriage?
I think what it is is like I put one of the notes in there. Garcelle had mentioned that she had a conversation off camera with Kyle in Vegas. So like kind of around the Magic Mike kind of kiosk. And she was asking about the ring and the divorce. So I think it's a conversation that people know of, but then at least Kyle wasn't going to be the one to bring it up. Or maybe there was some pressure like, oh, am I going to be the one to out the affair if there's an affair, or say that there's some kind of like struggles in marriage? Because that's kind of what the Housewives is. It's like everybody knows something's going on, and it's whether you want to say it in front of the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So
We started watching Salt Lake last night.
Salt
That
Lake's-
intro is iconic.
Is
Wait,
it so
Season
good?
4.
they're saying them
The
like
beginning.
Mormon verses, and it's like slow motion.
You start season 4, and it's like immediately, it's like the FBI seems to be like raiding Heather's house. You know,
Oh, it was
It's
producers,
producers.
the cameraman.
but they
for
give
the
a
show.
vibe. They give a vibe that it's like they're being raided, or
And
like
she's
she's on a
screaming.
call.
Yeah,
and
she's like, get
screaming.
out. Yeah.
I met Heather the other night.
Mhm.
Yeah, we talked on the phone.
Okay.
I talked on the phone.
But yeah, she gave me her number. We talked on the phone. Got some tea.
Are you gonna share, or were you
Not yet.
just okay?
Not yet.
Just know it exists.
Just know it
folks.
exists,
Ooh.
and
We'll circle back.
Filled with
we'll
tea.
circle back. But yeah, Utah is. So Mary is like, walk me through her married to her grandpa. Is this like a blood thing? Because they have a kid together. Like,
It's-
what is going on?
So a way to think of it is like, and this is a good detail, is the show was originally supposed to be just about Mary and like her cult, because she is from a bloodline of like some kind of religious, in quotation marks, cult. And basically her grandmother was honored or viewed as like some kind of reincarnation of Mary, like the Mary. And her grandmother, when she
Like
passed
the
away,
Blessed Mother Mary. Like
yes.
Jesus' mom.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay.
So then like her followers would like basically trust anything she said.
Oh my.
So then when the grandmother passed away, she promised the marriage of one of her granddaughters to her husband at the time, which was like a second husband.
And again, like her biological grandfather.
Not biological,
Your second husband.
her second husband.
Oh, step
Second.
grandfather.
Yeah, so it's not as bad, but basically Mary was the granddaughter to follow through, and she married the step grandfather, had a kid with him, and basically now she's the new leader of the cult.
How old was she when she had that kid? Because her kid's like 20 something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, she's older too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so freaky. That's like Woody Allen. He married,
Yeah,
his
yeah.
stepdaughter.
Yuck.
Yuck. Yeah. Big yuck.
Mary's good TV too, though.
She is
Oh,
great
yeah. She's
TV.
great TV. Yeah.
I told Nick the last time that I watched Salt Lake was when she was I don't remember who she was telling it to, but the biggest drama was that she told someone they smelled like a hospital.
Oh my god, that was the first season. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was Jen
so
Shaw, the one that got
Jen
arrested.
Shaw,
yeah.
yeah, and she was
Oh,
so
God.
offended. She was like, "How fucking dare you say I smell like a hospital?"
Mhm.
And that was like the biggest drama.
That is a very specific insult.
Truly, and
It's-
honestly, disrespectful.
It cuts.
A little bit, yeah.
no, for sure.
Which is your favorite city of Housewives?
I love Beverly Hills, but
Yeah.
Justin says Salt Lake is. Like,
I think you'll be
best,
converted because
so-
Beverly Hills was my favorite, and then I was telling Nick this Salt Lake City editing is like dramatic. Like they're
Ooh.
not afraid to use the sound bites, the sound effects, like the fade to blacks. Like it's a whole new level.
Yeah, I like Beverly Hills Housewives just of the nostalgia, the OG of it, the
Mhm.
Beverly Hills,
Yeah, the proximity. We're in
the
LA.
you got in just like previous character Denise Richards, Kathy Hilton, Kyle Richards, like just iconic like names that outside of Housewives. Where a lot of the Housewives you learn about them through Housewives, and it seems like a different level of prestige. Kathy Hilton shares why Kyle and Mauricio won't reconcile. What did she say?
Oh yeah, she said, if my sister's gone this long, with really like taking it this far, she's serious about it. Because she asked, "Do you think they'll get back together?"
And so, no, she thinks.
That's so sad.
I know. It is sad. Why
I'm-
can't they? Why don't they just take a? I'm not one.
Take a break.
Yeah, I'm not one for breaks, but.
But I mean, after being married for 20 something years, it wouldn't hurt.
And as for her marriage advice, she added, I would say open communication and never take anyone for granted. Okay. Thanks, Kathy. Ariana Madix and Katie Malone faced backlash from fans earlier this week after taking to their Instagram accounts to promote something about her. What did they do wrong?
Yeah, why was there backlash?
I think it's just because she's the queen of like monetization. I can't even say the word. She's
Ariana?
she's the queen of
Monetization.
ads. Yes. Yeah. So like
People are done with her monetizing
Yeah.
this.
like it just also because they're advertising socks for her business alongside this book being released, but for like the socks, it's for their restaurant that hasn't opened yet.
Oh yeah, they haven't had the place isn't even selling
Yeah.
food yet.
Exactly. So they're like, well, that's interesting.
I mean,
But it was supposedly for a good cause. It
Yeah,
was
it
like
was.
they were combining their proceeds, or all the proceeds were being donated. I believe it was for like youth homelessness.
Yeah.
So what's there to hate on that?
yeah, I don't understand. Like,
Why are we mad?
it's just like it was okay for her to monetize it before, but there's some sort of
Yeah, when was the
statute
So
of
there's a
limit-
comment.
when's the
There's a
statute of
comment that
limitations?
says, "Mark my words, everyone's going to hate Ariana this season and develop a soft spot for Tom."
Oh.
Yeah,
and
and Ariana
Ariana
replied,
responded
yeah.
back to that comment and said, "Certainly wouldn't be surprised if the audience swings that way."
Yeah, that's just reality TV. We've talked about that.
Ooh, you live long enough to be the villain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Rachel, new podcast dropping?
Yeah, she teased it before. It'll come out with a bang, and
And it's called Rachel Goes Rogue, which is honestly a great podcast title.
sure. I thought it was going to be called The Other Woman.
Oh, that's
Other
funny.
Women.
That could have been good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Rachel Goes Rogue. It'll come out with a bang. Knowing iHeart, they'll probably bleed it out. For her first episode will be 15 episodes long. And then she'll bring on,
Tom.
I guess, experts around affairs. And
Oh, that'd be cool if she brought on Tom.
no, she
Yeah, they
won't.
do a
I
pod
don't- I
swap.
don't think they're-
Imagine.
Pod
I don't
swap.
think they're talking much, but it'll be popular for like 2 months.
Yeah, and Bethany's going to be
Feel free.
involved in production.
I'm
So,
sure
Oh.
she will. Yeah.
yeah, I am curious to see how and what direction that goes.
It'll start high and slowly.
Go down.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of their playbook. They like to sign a scandal and kind of
Yeah.
keep it going as long as people will.
I worked
Pay
for Tom and
attention to
Tom. I worked for the Toms at the Tom Tom.
You really?
Yeah, I
you
was-
worked at Tom Tom's.
I worked at Tom Tom for about 3 weeks before they opened. And then I stopped working there.
What was that experience like?
I'd gotten hired as a waitress, and they had asked if I have to go re-interview on camera because they wanted everyone to kind of be involved on camera. And actually, if you watch closely, there was a scene of James Kennedy walking through all upset, and I'm sitting there interviewing with the Toms. But I got hired, and I had a following on Instagram, and I was working a Daily Mail party, and Teddy Mellencamp said, "Oh, I follow you. I think you're really funny." And then she told Sheena about me. Sheena was so sweet. She tipped me $20. And this was like a non-paid event. So she just went out of her way to tip me, which I always thought was sweet. And then the next day at training, Lisa Vanderpump came up to me and she said, "Darling," because it got back to Pandora too, who got back to Lisa. And she said, "Darling, my daughter says you have a following and we're looking to have new people on the show basically for next season." This was when they were getting new cast.
Like for Vanderpump?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And she didn't say, "Here's a position." She just said, "Is that something you'd potentially be interested? I could introduce you to one of our Bravo producers." But I was just like, it was very interesting, but I was like, I think my life's pretty boring. I don't think they would, but they wanted, I think, to create some new buzz.
How long ago was this?
2018. Yeah. When they had just hired, I think they had just gotten Max, who was literally my boss. And then I worked one night serving Lisa and a bunch of people. And Lisa came up to me and she said, "Have you ever served before?" And I was like, "I don't think I should work here anymore." And so I left, and they tried to get me to stay and at least stay as a hostess. I think they really wanted me to potentially do the show or something.
Was that your first serving
No,
job?
I had served so many jobs.
Oh, no.
I
Oh,
was
no.
I don't think this is a good environment. I worked sports bars and stuff, so I was just I don't think this is a good fit. But
Was that did you feel like Lisa was almost saying a line, almost if she was on TV and kind of doing her Lisa Vanderpump kind of
I mean, they take their restaurants really seriously. Pandora was heavily involved in the production of the restaurant itself. No cameras. The Toms would kind of come in when there were cameras. They were nice guys, but yeah. So I think they just took it really seriously. So they wanted it to feel really fine dining, and I don't think I maybe gave off fine dining for her. It didn't feel like a line because there were no cameras, but
you could have been a part of Scandival.
I know. I do feel like the new people that came on kind of crashed and burned. Are they still on the show? Besides Raquel, Rachel.
Well, no,
and-
Rachel is not.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it was people from, I don't even know their names. It was Max. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was that era. This was 2018, 2019.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who came and went.
Yeah. But yeah, it was very crazy when she comes up to you and, you know, they're kind of dangling that idea.
Yeah. Max, Brett, Bo,
yeah.
Dana. And then Charlie also kind of appeared around that time, but has had a lot more staying power. It would
Right. They brought all those people in.
Yeah.
Those people weren't working there.
What could have been? What was your read on the Toms?
They seemed Schwartz was super nice. Like whenever, because I had worked in service for years, and they would come into restaurants, we would see them around, and you know they're always very friendly. Like, let us buy you a shot, or I saw Schwartz more than Sandoval, but at that time. But they were really nice guys. I mean, you just see them briefly.
Well, I thought when I was on your Instagram, like looking at some of your content, there were like, I'm going to butcher this. What is it? Like, yes, I'm a girl. Or,
oh, yeah, we're girls. Yeah,
we're girls. Like, there were some things that were so niche and specific. I was really, really impressed. Like, were there a few things that you realized were universal that kind of like inspired you to make that? Like things that you might have thought were just like individual experiences where then you were like, oh, wait, other people know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm curious. Was there one that resonated with you that you were like, oh, that one specifically hit?
I remember, I have to find the video because I was just like, yes, Your
I made a list. I mean, it's, you know, it's always such little things like we're going to love pockets. We're going to like see that your ex-girlfriend went to Costa Rica with her new husband on vacation last year. Like we're going to be in the CIA. We're going to know everything you're up to. But yeah, it obviously resonated. It took off and it's been really fun for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up, Madeleine. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks so much for having me.
So much
It was a blast.
Can you please let my audience know where to find you, follow you, all the great things that you're putting out into the world?
Yes, find me, follow me at Madeleine Byrne. So many E's in that. Do you want me to spell it?
Please.
MADELEINE on pretty much everything. TikTok, Instagram.
Everything.
Yep.
Love that. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com for all things Ask Nick, texting office hours. As Madeleine so graciously reminded you, we have our Ask Nicks every Monday. If you love people's relationship stories and a bit of advice here or there, Monday's episode is titled, Why Won't He Go Down on Me? So if that resonates with you, tune on in. And on Thursday, we have the one, the only Crystal Minkoff from Beverly Hills Housewives to give us a little behind the scenes from the dinner party from hell. And just really kind of get to know Crystal a little bit more. She's more of a soft-spoken housewife, but I have a feeling she might have a lot to say. She'll be with us on Thursday. Don't forget to tune in to that. Okay, see ya on Thursday. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.